Why is Son Goku a little boy? Why is he naked? Who's the dirty old man? And why is Baby so angry? We will answer these and more questions today as we discuss Dragon Ball GT on the Irreverent Nerds podcast. Stay tuned for more. I'm Richard.
And I'm Will.
And together we're
The Irreverent Nerds. Bum, bum, bum.
Hey nerds, so Richard here. I am starting this recording without my good buddy Will because we are running out of time. It's getting late. We've been having technical difficulty after technical difficulty for this week's episode. We've got a release tomorrow, so I'm jumping in. He is trying to get Zoom working on his computer, just having issues. We're not sure what's causing it. So he may or may not be joining me tonight. You gotta love technology, right? When it works great, it's amazing. When it doesn't, it's just frustrating, right? So, what's our topic for tonight? Dragon Ball GT. So this is a topic of William's choice. This is a series that he is currently watching through himself. I believe he said he's on episode 40, something like that. Not sure what season that is specifically. He said the series really starts to get good around episode 30, and we are supposed to talk about it tonight. Obviously, I am the novice when it comes to this series. I've literally only watched the first episode. Just finished that a little earlier this evening. So I was going to pepper Will with all kinds of questions about the series. He was going to tell me what he loves about it and give his synopsis, maybe talk about favorite episodes, etc., which may still happen. But for now, just to fill some time. No, I'm just kidding. This is important too. So I'm going to read the entry from Wikipedia just to let you learn a little bit about Dragon Ball GT along with me. Because again, I'm the novice here. The expert is still to come. So, according to Wikipedia.org, Dragon Ball GT is a 1996 to 1997 Japanese anime television series based on Akira Toriyama's Dragon Ball manga. Produced by Toei Animation, the series premiered in Japan on Fuji TV and ran for 64 episodes from February 1996 to November 1997. Unlike the previous two anime in the Dragon Ball franchise, Dragon Ball GT does not adapt the manga by Toriyama, but is an anime-exclusive sequel show to the Dragon Ball Z anime, with an original story using the same characters and universe, which follows the exploits of Goku, his granddaughter Pan, and their various associates. However, Toriyama had designed some of the new characters introduced to the show. So, Akira Toriyama had a hand in it. What's the basic plot? So, there are different sagas, similar to the other Dragon Ball series, like when we had the episode about Dragon Ball Z with Mr. Zach Williams sometime back. We talked about the different sagas and the ones that he liked. And since I am not an expert, I am waiting for the expert to arrive. I am going to read you some more on Wikipedia. So let's see. All right. So first we have the Black Star Dragon Balls or Baby Saga. 5 years after the 28th World Martial Arts Tournament, Goku is accidentally turned back into a child by Ultimate Shenron, a much more powerful version of Shenron created by the nameless Namekian before he split into Kami and King Piccolo, who can grant any single wish regardless of any restrictions placed on the other dragons, summoned from the Black Star Dragon Balls by his old enemy, Emperor Pilaf. And no, that's not a rice dish. He is then forced to travel across the universe to retrieve them, accompanied by his granddaughter Pan and Trunks, as if he does not retrieve them within a year, the Earth will explode. I did see that in the first episode. That's how it ends. Basically, there is somewhat of a prophecy, somewhat of a, I don't know if threat's even the right word, but they find out that if they don't retrieve all the Dragon Balls within a year, the Earth will explode. So the trio goes through various adventures in their journey to find the Black Star Dragon Balls until they encounter the artificial Tuffle parasite baby who intends to destroy the Saiyan race as his revenge for their extermination of the Tuffles many years ago. After turning practically all of the Earth's population, including the Saiyans, into Neo-Tuffles, Baby decides to convert Vegeta's body into his own and use it to kill Goku. Goku fights him and is quickly defeated, but after having his tail regenerated by Kibito Kai and Old Kai, transforms and achieves the power of Super Saiyan. In his new form, Goku easily overpowers Baby before destroying the evil Tuffle by propelling him into the sun with a 10 times Kamehameha, or otherwise known as, or literally translated as, tenfold turtle destruction wave. Piccolo then sacrifices himself to permanently destroy Ultimate Shenron and the Black Star Dragon Balls when the Earth explodes, after Goku and the others help the people of Earth evacuate to planet Plant, which Baby had wished back into existence using the Black Star Dragon Balls. So, obviously, I watched the first episode in that initial saga, and I have a few thoughts. Sorry if these seem sacrilegious to any hardcore Dragon Ball fans. I am a relative newcomer to this series, as any of you who have been listening to the podcast for a while will know. So, in watching the intro, which was quite long, like a full Japanese pop song, obviously was written for the series and tells some story, introduce you to the heavenly realm and things like that. But, the animation that goes along with it shows Son Goku in the nude at one point, initially from behind, and then shabam, full frontal nudity. And I'm like, is that supposed to be okay because he's been turned into a child or into his child form? Ah, perfect. Mr. Willem is here. Let's see if he can speak. So, oh, here he comes. Will, you're here. You're here, my friend. Yes.
Finally. All I had to do is restart the computer.
Technical difficulties. Gotta love it. So I've been talking to the nerds here for a few minutes. Basically, while I was waiting for you to come, I read the intro from the Wikipedia entry on Dragon Ball GT, and I read the description of the Black Star Dragon Ball's Baby Saga. And I was just getting into talking about the first episode, and specifically the intro. And I have an important question for you.
Why is Goku naked?
Exactly. What's up? What is up with the full frontal nudity, my friend? What the heck? Like small, like grandpa turned into a small child Goku penis. Like what the heck?
Well, Dragon Ball GT is essentially it's not really the original creator of Dragon Ball didn't really work on this series, but in effect, it was the animation studio trying to restart the series because the series started with Goku as a kid and he was naked a lot. That was Akira Toriyama's fault. I don't know why Akira Toriyama had Goku stripped down naked to go swimming and stuff or moon people. Well, he didn't moon people necessarily. It was really a joke. They'd be like, "You have the Dragon Balls," and he'd drop his shorts. You mean these? And stuff like that. I mean, Goku is really innocent. He doesn't purposely moon people. It's just he's kind of dumb. But
when he's in his child form.
Yeah, in the original Dragon Ball, So I think they were trying to recapture the feel of the original Dragon Ball with the first saga of GT with Goku as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, if you and I or you and Zach ever stop to watch the original Dragon Ball together, be prepared for lots of Goku tiddlywink.
That makes me wonder a little bit about the creators, but we won't go there.
Yes,
Um, so yeah, thankfully I was
but
waiting for it to happen again in the episode, and it did not. Thankfully,
it eventually does, but only in like one or two episodes.
that's good. I
And
think
they weren't very good episodes either. Just skip them.
you can just skip them.
Yes, no one wants to see an episode about a catfish trying to marry Trunks, cross dressing.
Oh man. Well, speaking of some inappropriate things, so what's up with the dirty old man? Was it the
Well,
turtle,
that's Master Roshi.
Master Roshi?
Yeah, in the newest series, Dragon Ball Super, they actually there was a lot of pushback even in Japan about that because it's not politically correct anymore. Not that it was ever okay, it wasn't, but that's his character from his. It was hard to watch when I finally got around to binging Dragon Ball earlier this year. Um, yes, he is. He's a pervert. He is porn addicted. It's meant to be comedic and funny, but it's just really kind of, well,
Gross.
gross. Yes, it's really gross. Um, and Dragon Ball Z, for the most part, completely drops that.
That's good.
Anyway, that humor was mostly found in the very early Dragon Ball story arcs, and it was eventually dropped. In Dragon Ball Super, Roshi finally conquers his weakness. But
Well, that's good. Gotta have a
I
little
think,
bit. Gotta have a little bit of character development, right?
yeah, definitely. I think that um I think that when we talk about Dragon Ball GT, it's best to talk about it in parallel to the better versions of Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball GT, I'm binging it. I'm only up to the beginning of the Super Android 17 saga.
Oh, okay.
Uh, so, in essence, I've only seen the Black Star Dragon Ball saga and the Baby saga. And I did enjoy the Baby saga. It was a little ridiculous at times. Am I getting ahead of things? Should I
No,
continue with my thoughts?
no. Actually, like I said, I read the summary from Wikipedia while I was waiting for you to come on about the Black Star Dragon Balls and the Baby Saga. They merged them into a couple of paragraphs basically, and it finishes saying Piccolo then sacrifices himself to permanently destroy Ultimate Shenron and the Black Star Dragon Balls when the Earth explodes after Goku and the others help the people of Earth evacuate to planet Plant, which Baby had wished back into existence using the Black Star Dragon Balls. So I was curious, does Piccolo actually die, or does he get in this series, or does he get resurrected later? Or maybe you don't know that yet if you haven't watched that far.
I haven't watched that far, but it's not unusual for the character to get resurrected constantly, so we won't be too sad for Piccolo. He'll probably be back anyway.
Yeah, just like superheroes in
Yeah,
DC and Marvel. You can't be dead.
absolutely.
Can't be dead for too long. There's too much money involved.
Yeah, and I'm sorry I forgot to warn you about Goku's tiddlywinks in the
Oh,
intro
dude,
sequence.
it's okay. I survived.
But thoughts, questions, concerns?
So what are Neo Tuffles?
Well, I'm watching a subtitle version, but I
Ah,
think you're talking about how Baby plants eggs into people and controls them, and they calls them basically the new it was a different word in my subtitle. It wasn't truffles or whatever word you just used, but at least I don't think it was. Anyway, the backstory is that Baby is a some sort of cyborg mutant that was engineered by the Truffles or Tuffles or whatever their name is back on planet Plant uh, in order to try to stop the Saiyans from taking over their planet. The Saiyans had lost their planet, so they were taking planet Plant uh, as their own to recolonize. So the Saiyans are actually the bad guys in this sense, but so you kind of feel bad for the Baby character, but at the same time, he's going about this the wrong way. He's planted these eggs in all the people of Earth to mind control them. So that's the only way that they are on his side. He's calling them the new Tuffles or Truffles or whatever. He's trying to repopulate planet Plant.
So yeah, it looks like according to this, what the Saiyans committed genocide essentially.
Yeah,
Killed all the Tuffles.
Like our friend Zach said, there's lots of genocide in Dragon Ball.
Oh, fun. Well, then, yeah, like you said, the people of Earth don't deserve to be drug into that, but the Saiyans definitely deserve to be attacked because of that. I mean, my goodness.
Well, the problem with that is that all the bad Saiyans have already died by this point. Except for Vegeta.
This is like generational vengeance.
Yeah.
Okay. So Neo Tuffles then, like you said, are the humans and Saiyans apparently who have been implanted by an egg. And then according to this, Baby decides to then convert Vegeta's body into his own in an effort to kill Goku.
Yeah, which I think is a huge disservice to Vegeta. Where's your Saiyan pride, Vegeta? But I mean, this is Dragon Ball GT we're talking about, so we're not asking for much, we're not expecting much, but and if you're unaware, I'm binging GT because as a Dragon Ball fan, I decided I just needed to finally just do this.
So you've been avoiding it for a while.
I have not been interested all that much in GT. I mean, GT's from episode 1, it's kind of stupid.
I was having a hard time keeping interest. I have to say in the first episode.
Well, this series of Dragon Ball is controversial. It's mostly hated by the fans of Dragon Ball. So that's why I say that we shouldn't expect much out of GT. But shoot, I forgot where I was going with this train of thought. But anyway, yeah, I thought it really sucked that Vegeta gets his body taken over without a fight or anything.
So, but now to say, would it be fair to say that you've been hate watching Dragon Ball GT?
Well, mostly during the Black Star Dragon Ball saga. The Baby saga was a lot more interesting. But yes and no. I keep saying Goku wouldn't do that. That's bad writing. Well, I'll say this show, there are parts of the show I'm actually enjoying, like the Baby saga, but at the same time, they really did a disservice to the characters. Like, they hardly don't use Goten and Gohan, Chi-Chi, Bulma, these legacy characters, Vegeta. They hardly use them at all. And when they do use them, I mean, they've just been relegated to side characters. I mean, especially Krillin. My gosh, Krillin and his entire family. His wife 18 and his daughter, I don't even remember the daughter's name, but they're just complete background characters. But
so they featured much more prominently in Dragon Ball Z.
Yes, they feature much more prominently in the actual stuff created by the creator, Akira Toriyama.
Yeah, I saw that it said this was not based on one of his mangas, but he did have some input in creation of some character or development of the characters, but not much the actual story, it seems.
Yeah, I don't really know to what degree he actually should be credited with GT. I'm not sure. Um, but yeah, I just wish that they had utilized the characters better. I just think the writing could for this series so far could have been a lot better. The Black Star Dragon Ball series in specifically, I think suffers from a lot of bad writing, and it's just overall unenjoyable. I mean, it starts becoming enjoyable when Doctor Moo and Baby start appearing in it, but I mean, especially that catfish, that two. There were two episodes devoted to a catfish terrorizing a village.
Like a mutant
Uh,
catfish.
it was a catfish, giant catfish man, like Catfish Zilla, and supposedly he's creating these earthquakes. But it's just bad writing because in episode 2 we find out that he doesn't create the earthquakes; he just senses them coming, and they just happen to happen at the exact right moment he needs it to happen to scare everybody. But it's just poor writing, and in order to trick the catfish, Trunks, who honestly should have been written a lot better as far as I'm concerned, because he is one of the most bad butt, excuse my Captain America language, he's one of the most bad butt characters. He is one of my absolute favorite characters from Dragon Ball Z. I'm talking about Future Trunks. And I know this Trunks is not Future Trunks. This is the Trunks that grew up in the good timeline, but still, I just feel like he could have been written a lot better. And so he in order to trick the catfish, instead of just fighting the stupid catfish monster, they have to trick the catfish monster. Why? So I guess they're afraid if they fight the catfish, that the catfish will just create a earthquake to destroy the village. But so Trunks dresses up in drag and pretends to marry the catfish man. And so they, while the catfish man is taking his new bride, carrying his new bride back to his home, the others have to follow him back to his cave, and where Goku decides to strip his clothes and get naked and go swimming to follow the catfish man. So he's naked for a good chunk of this. And to his granddaughter's chagrin, she screams, "Grandpa, get your clothes back on,"
Yeah.
which is what we're all screaming.
For shame, for shame. Have you no shame, sir?
Yes.
Or son, or child.
But my apologies to all those people out there that just really want to see some naked Goku baby. I don't know who you are.
I don't think we want to know who those people are, Will.
Yes. but but I actually quit watching Dragon Ball GT during these two episodes because I just couldn't take it anymore. But then later I came back to it because I was bored. So it did get better, but this is the kind of stuff that we're looking at. I mean, in the original Dragon Ball, we did have an episode like that, but that makes it even worse because all we're doing is rehashing an original Dragon Ball story that was actually done better.
Like anyone hasn't done that before.
Yeah.
In the world of entertainment. Let's see. So we were this is kind of going back to a topic we spoke about earlier about Toriyama's level of involvement.
Yeah.
According to, and this is assuming obviously the Wikipedia entry is accurate, it says unlike the previous anime series in the Dragon Ball franchise, Dragon Ball GT does not adapt the manga series written by Akira Toriyama, but tells an original story conceived by the staff of Toei Animation using the same characters and universe in the Dragon Ball manga, and it continues the story where Dragon Ball Z left off. Toriyama did, however, come up with the Dragon Ball GT name, which stands for Grand Tour, in reference to the series having the characters travel through the universe, and designed the appearances of the main cast. Toriyama himself referred to GT as a, quote, side story of the original Dragon Ball. So he had some involvement, but it sounds like he kind of just let them run with it after his initial involvement.
And we all know what happens when Akira just lets people run with it. We get Dragon Ball Evolution.
Yeah, and that I don't think that it probably didn't even make its budget back. I don't think, did it? I doubt it.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Maybe that's something I can subject you to the horrors of. And
Oh yeah, we could totally hate / mock watch Dragon Ball Evolution. Like, I enjoy watching, like, every now and then just watch a movie that's so bad that you love to hate it.
Well,
Or is it not bad enough that you can love to hate it?
no, it's just I hate to hate it kind of thing. No, I love to hate it, but I don't love it. I don't want to watch it.
So in the realm of anime films turned live action gone wrong, how does it compare to The Last Airbender?
The Last Airbender's better.
Oh my goodness. Okay, well then, yeah. That doesn't surprise me though. Given the trailers I remember seeing back in the day, I'm like, yeah, no interest in watching this. Nope.
And this is off topic, but I thought for fun we would just, watch and review some really terrible entertainment like Dragon Ball Evolution, the Star Wars Holiday Special, that kind of trash.
Oh, yes, we should absolutely do the holiday special.
Yes.
Like I finally got around to watching it earlier this year, and I was like, yes, this is amazing. I get to meet Chewbacca's entire family. Like, who wouldn't love that? And then there's this
get to watch this cooking show.
Yeah, a cooking show, and then this random like Whitney Houston-esque music video in the middle of the holiday special.
Yeah.
For some reason. And then now I will say the Boba Fett cartoon was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was cool.
That was pretty cool. But no, it was so bad that it was fun to watch actually.
Fun note, that was Boba Fett's first appearance, and that was before episode 2.
Yes. That's right. I remember hearing that. I remember reading that somewhere. It's like, yeah. I think I finished the whole thing. I want to say, I think Laura, my wife, walked in at one point and was like, nope. She's like, nope. Something to that effect.
I tried to subject Tommy to that. For y'all who don't know, that's a longtime friend of mine, Tommy. But I tried to subject him to the holiday special, and he couldn't get like 30 minutes in. That's how he felt about it too.
Well, like I said, it was so bad that I actually enjoyed it. But there are some other films with properties that are maybe a little dearer. Like, I love Star Wars, but I have to admit Batman's a little dearer to my heart, which is in part, as I've discussed before on this podcast, Batman and Robin is still the only Batman film I've never finished. And unless we hate watch that at some point, I probably never will.
We could
hate watch it. Maybe we should do that like once a month. We'll have a hate watch episode.
Well, just think of it this way: even Batman and Robin is better than Dragon Ball Evolution.
Oh dang! Well, yeah. Oh my goodness. No, all right. Well, so how does it compare to the original Mortal Kombat? That's another comparison.
I don't know. I don't remember if I've seen it.
I watched most of it. Where did I don't even remember where I watched that or why I watched. I was just curious, I guess. I found it somewhere, like the streaming service or YouTube or something, and I was like, "Yeah, this is not good." Not sure how. I've heard the new one's not that great either. But I don't know what you can really expect from a game where people just beat each other to a bloody pulp. So, like, there's only so much mythos you can pull out of that.
Well, the new Mortal Kombat was pretty good.
Was it? Okay, I haven't seen it.
Oh, you didn't see it?
I've heard mixed reviews at best. But you enjoyed it?
Well, I enjoyed it.
I wouldn't mind seeing it. I would just out of curiosity at some point, when I'm just killing time. But you know, only have one life. So
This
ah,
is true.
by
This
the
is
way,
true.
I'm looking behind you and I see a Ghostbusters vehicle. That looks pretty cool. Yeah,
Yeah,
the other side there. Yeah.
yeah. Mandy saw the real Ghostbusters Ectomobile on clearance at Walmart and surprised me with it sometime last few months.
Oh yeah. Dang, I remember when that came out. Well, I think it was the oh yeah, because that's the animated series version, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. I remember that as a kid. Like I remember that coming out. I remember seeing it in toy stores and such. I'm trying to remember if I ever had any of the figures. This is definitely a tangent, obviously,
it's
Ghostbusters.
definitely a tangent.
No relation whatsoever to Dragon Ball. Unless they had some American actors in common for like the dubbed versions or something. But other than that,
Well, I mean, we could look it up. Maybe the same animation studio in Japan worked on episodes. I don't know.
who knows? Who knows?
It's really stretching.
No, but we should do an episode on the real Ghostbusters at some point
Yeah,
because I
that'd
do
be great.
remember my parents didn't let me watch much of it, I
I
guess,
have favorite episodes.
but I do remember. I certainly remember seeing previews for it, on TV, and I think I did see a few episodes. Wasn't there was this show that came on around the same time about like mutant tomatoes or something? Was it
Yes,
Attack of the
Attack
Killer
of the Killer
Tomatoes?
Tomatoes.
Yeah, I know that was a movie first, but then they did an animated series around the same time, I think, as the real Ghostbusters. I want to say they even came on like back to back at some point.
They might have
I just remember for some reason those two are connected in my mind. Um, the '90s.
in the 90s.
We miss you, '90s.
We can witch on the Dragon Balls and become kids again.
Yeah, there we go. Run around naked.
Yeah.
Uh,
So
free flowing tiddlywinks.
free flowing, let them flow.
I'm never gonna say that again. Oh my goodness. So let's see. Okay, so you haven't getting back to the main topic. So you haven't gotten past the baby saga. It's just so do you know much about, or do you know much about the Android 17 saga or the Shadow Dragon saga? Like, had you already spoiled yourself about
I'm
those, or
I'm a little spoiled.
are you finding out as you go along? Like
A little bit of both.
a little bit of both. Okay.
I know that in the Shadow Dragon saga, the Eternal Dragon Shinron goes evil, and that each ball has its own dragon character or something come out of it, and something about Goku eating the Dragon Ball or something, and I don't know if he dies or what happens, but I'm not too spoiled. I've heard about it. I've hated the ideas of most of what I've heard. Uh, but I'm letting myself be surprised, enjoying certain moments, hating others. It's still better than Dragon Ball Evolution.
Ah, yes. So if there's a Super Android 17, does that mean there was a Super Android 16 at some point?
Yes and no.
Like, do they come in sequence? Like, were there like 16 of them between Dragon Ball Z, or is this just like random? Like, this is number 17.
No, no, no. There actually are numbers. And we don't get to see them all. We don't. In the
Gotta see
original
them all. Sorry,
androids,
continue, sir.
in the original Dragon Ball, we got to see um, Full Metal Jacket. Depending on your translation, that was one of his names.
Mm-hmm. Wait, isn't that an American movie, Full Metal Jacket, or is that Japanese?
No, that's American, but I think they were making fun of it. It was a android that was basically uh, Arnold Schwarzenegger as a Terminator. So he was one of the androids, and then Then there's a Frankenstein monster, which is one of the androids, and he has a number, but I can't remember his number right now.
She's just like,
Uh,
I'll
I
be
think.
back. Does he actually say that in the series? Like, I'll be back.
Well, I think that's one of the. He's from the Red Ribbon Army saga, and
Uh-huh.
if we ever watch Dragon Ball together, I'm going to recommend the episodes that include him. So I don't remember. I don't really think he says a whole lot. Sorry, that's not picking up, is it? Someone's messaging me on
Uh,
Facebook.
just heard a little beep.
Okay. Anyway, so we jump ahead to Dragon Ball Z, and we have Android 16, 17, and 18, and Dr. Gero, who's turned himself into an android. Oh, we also have Android 19. I forgot about him. Um, Gero might be Android 20. I'm not sure. So they do come in sequence. And Android 17 is a previously seen character pulled out of Dragon Ball Z.
Oh yeah. And then the Dragon Ball movie that we watched in the theater, there were two androids in that,
Yeah,
right?
that's right. Because that was Dr. Gero's grandson.
Ah, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. So then he made two more androids.
that's true. Oh, and Cell. Cell was an android. I don't remember his number. They tried to make a new Cell in that movie we saw.
Yeah, that was a that was a massive. Well, it was bigger than the other characters, but yeah.
Yeah.
No, he looked more organic than
Well,
anything else.
that's the thing. When it was translated into English, they called them androids, but they're really cyborgs.
Oh, okay.
So they're part um, flesh, part robot. Android 18 actually turns into a good guy and then marries Goku's best friend Krillin, and they have a baby together.
How?
Well, because
Oh, he has some biological parts.
yeah, because Android 18 and her brother 17 were originally. I I really want to know their backstory. I really do. But until I find out their backstory, I'm just going to pretend they were teenagers that were in the wrong place at the wrong time and got killed, and Dr. Gero took their bodies and turned them into robot people.
Mm.
I don't know.
Yeah, when I hear side note, when I hear Android, I mean I'm a Star Trek fan, so I automatically think of Data,
Yeah.
Commander Data, which by the way, my wife, um, Laura watched an episode of Star Trek Next Generation with me the other night. Like I'd had such a crappy day, she offered to watch one with me, and I was like, oh, "Be still, my beating heart." No.
A much better series than GT, I must admit.
So we watched one of at least what used to be one of Patrick Stewart's favorite episodes called In Theory, and it's where Data attempts. Well, he attempts to have a romantic relationship. It's his second attempt, but in this case, it was
It's not with this cat, is
no, not with Spot. No, this is with a coworker.
That's not how
And,
Spot got pregnant.
I'm pretty sure Spot's a male. Um, but no, with one of his coworkers, who has a tendency to fall in love with men who show no emotion. And then, of course, she falls with a man who is literally incapable of showing no
Oh my
emotion.
gosh.
It's pretty funny actually, and Laura actually enjoyed it. It was funny. It's a funny episode, and yeah, Brent Spiner obviously is hilarious, and just yeah, it's
Great.
but no, when you talked about androids, an android having a child, I just thought there's a running joke among TNG fans. Data is fully functional.
Really?
Doesn't mean he can have a child, but yes, he has the necessary parts.
Isn't that like
for
against Federation
other activities.
laws?
Well, he's considered sentient. Well, actually, there is an episode pretty early on in the series that where that's up for debate, and it's challenged in legally challenged whether he's sentient and sentient in the sense that he has his own legal rights and such. It's a really good episode, by the way. I think it's called Measure of a Man. Measure of a Man, I believe. But yeah, like there's a scientist in the Federation who essentially wants to use data as like a template to make androids for every ship in the Federation, basically. But Captain Picard comes to Data's defense and argues that Data has essentially like free will. He's a sentient organism essentially, and he has the same rights, or should have the same rights as humans, as Homo sapiens, to refuse such a thing. He's not just a machine. He's not just Federation. He's not Federation property.
Yeah.
So he argues for that. Really, really good episode. One of the best in TNG. This is season 2, I believe. Season 1 is forgettable. Like season 1 would be the Dragon Ball GT of Star Trek.
Is it really that bad?
It's pretty bad. Yeah, it's pretty bad. It's enjoyable. It's so bad it's funny. Like to those of us that love TNG, like when my dad.
I feel like you've insulted Next Generation.
Oh, don't worry. Like even the actors would say, yeah, season 1 is bad.
Oh,
okay. Yeah, like if it had been made by Fox would have canceled it after season 1. Although they do. Gosh. Actually, no, the reverse would be true with Fox. Like they would cancel it if it was good.
Yep.
And just like they did with Firefly, just like they did with Dollhouse, right when it was getting good. Fox. Curse you, Fox. No. They didn't do it with X-Files, though. They actually dragged that sucker out too long.
Moneymaker. Money in the bank.
Yeah, which Firefly would have been had they stuck with it.
Are you guys still going to do your X-Files review?
We need to do that. Yeah, Laura and I still need to do, we need to finish it. We got like 2 episodes left in the entire series. And we just hadn't gotten back around to finishing it. We need to do that, though. Yeah.
Now, are you guys including the movies and the new series of X-Files?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's all the way to like season 11, which came out 4 years ago, like 2018, I think. Yeah. We've gotten all the way to like the last 2 episodes ever made, up to this point anyway. I'm sure they'll reboot it at some point with somebody else, but I think that season was an attempt. They had a couple characters in there were going to be like Mulder and Scully proxies or something. I was a little weird, but that didn't end up going anywhere. But yeah, we've seen both of the movies and then all 11 seasons with the exception of the final 2 episodes. And yeah, I did go back and buy season 1 on Blu-ray, so I've got that on Blu-ray. It's one of the best first seasons of any TV series I've ever seen, like bar none, like in terms of just quality of writing and production value and even acting, like right off the bat. Like I put it right up there with Lost and Heroes. Like Heroes season 1 was really good. This series kind of went off the rails after that. We are way off topic, or I'm way off topic.
We are way off topic, but this is a treat for fans because they don't have to listen to us talk about how bad GT is.
Yeah, and for those of you that have stuck with us to the very end of this episode, like bonus content. You got some bonus content. So other assorted nerdy topics. Well, let's see. We got about 3 minutes left in our Zoom recording here.
So, after I watch the next 2 story arcs, should we do a GT part 2?
Why not? Why not? We can hate on the final 2 sagas of the or maybe you'll be pleasantly surprised and we can come back and be like, I actually loved this saga. Like, but we'll see.
We will see. In the last 3 minutes, there was something really cool, but I would have done it differently. Super Saiyan 4, baby Goku turns back into an adult when he goes Super Saiyan 4. weird. I would have just kept him as an adult for the rest of the series. But no, when he goes, he powers down, he's a kid again.
There's a little section on that actually from in the Wikipedia article. It says chief character designer Katsuyoshi Nakatsuru said he agonized over designing Super Saiyan 4 Goku, which was the idea of the show's producers, questioning whether it was necessary to go further with the transformations. Because Super Saiyan 4 is brought about while in a Saiyan's great ape form, he made the hair more wild and covered Goku's body in red fur. There was only a single final draft of the character, although Nakatsuru did consider making the hair blonde. He ended up choosing black as it provides more contrast with the red fur. So that's what the Wikipedia article has to say about Super Saiyan 4 Goku.
Another problem: if it's Super Saiyan, the hair should be blonde.
Yeah, which apparently he considered doing that, and he's like,
yeah,
because blonde clashes with red. If you got red fur and blonde hair, it just don't look good together. You know what I mean?
the fur should be blonde too.
There you go, just blonde all the way.
I don't really consider that a Super Saiyan transformation. For me, that's more like Grape Ape 2 or something.
Grape ape?
Great Ape.
Great ape.
Yes, make it purple. Grape Ape. Yeah,
Grape ape.
that's right.
Oh, it'd be a new Tang flavor.
That probably... I probably owe you an explanation on Great Ape, but we don't have time for that right now.
No, we got less than a minute. All right, nerds. Thanks for joining us for this discussion of Dragon Ball GT. I don't know. We may or may not recommend you go see it yourself, but that's up to you. Will's working his way through it, so you can follow his lead.
I am suffering, so you don't have to.
Exactly. There you go. That's why we're doing this. You can know what you're in for if you're contemplating watching GT. So, nerds, we won't see you. You'll hear from us next week.
Not if we hear about you first. Okay.
That's right. All right. Live long and prosper, nerds. Thank you for joining us for this week's episode of the Irreverent Nerds podcast. You can follow us on Instagram at irreverent_nerds, plural. We are on Facebook. Our fan page is simply called The Irreverent Nerds. We're on YouTube, The Irreverent Nerd. And if you go to anchor.fm/Irreverent Nerd, you can support us for 99 cents a month, $4.99 a month, or $9.99 a month. You can also send us a voice message, which we may include in a future episode. Fellow nerds, until next time, make it so. Engage. Avengers assemble. I'm Batman.